Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40K Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, I want to say a huge thank you to Christian August, I hope I am saying that correctly, for sending in lots and lots of pictures of his very impressive Imperial Guard force. Loads of tanks, absolutely love it. Some really impressive flyers as well. I have to say, I'm a big fan of sort of the Terminator Inquisitor and also of that cheeky Commissar plasma tank. I think that looks incredible. Really love the paint scheme, love the variety of models. Thank you, Christian, for sending these pictures in. Really impressive collection. You do the Emperor proud. If anyone else has any cool pictures they want to send me, please post them down on my Facebook page. There will be a link in the description below. Preferably, could you post them on the page rather than sending them in a message, just because it is a lot easier for me to download them that way. I can do it if you send it in a message. It's just easier if you just put it directly on the page. And trust me, you'll get loads of nice comments from all the other people that are on there as well. So you should definitely put it on there because we'll all get to see your awesome models. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, I'm going to warn you guys, this is an Imperial Guard Tactics video, but there is some heresy involved. Bear that in mind. Okay? Basically, with the release of the Genestealer Cult Codex, yes, I know, call the local commissar, call the Inquisitor, I know, but hear me out. It's a quick tactics video. It's throwing that option out there. It's up to you if you want to use it. Okay? With the advent of the Genestealer Cult Codex, there are some interesting ways in how the Genestealer cult interact with guard units. Now, if you don't, I've done a guard first impressions video which covers a lot of this, and obviously, but one of the things in there is you can take Genestealer cult detachments alongside Imperial Guard detachments, but you get half the command points for the guard detachment. So if you took a Genestealer cult battalion, you would get 5 command points, but if you allied in a guard battalion, you would only get 3 because it's halving it, rounding up. However, there are ways around this, which as guard commanders we can use and still remain loyal. It's almost like you're using auxiliary forces. That's how you could justify this, okay? Now, obviously there is no justifying heresy, but this is a way of you taking advantage of a big thing in the Cult Codex without necessarily compromising a lot of your command points. Okay, one thing, and I don't know how you'd fit this in, but this is the option out there. Okay, what you can do is you could take something like a Supreme Command detachment, something similar, and in there, or you could just take a battalion, just eat the less command points. You could just do that, and you can take. What you're looking for is you want access to the Tempesta Prime. Now, why do you want access to the Tempesta Prime? Because he has the regiment Militarum Tempestus. But that regiment keywords, they get replaced by the keywords Brood Brothers. Okay? Now, that's really important. Because that allows that Militarum Tempesta Prime to issue orders to Brood Brother squads, because they all become part of the same regiment. Now, there are other ways that you can abuse this, but this is a way which I think, and I've been told by my ear to the ground, this isn't likely to get changed. Okay? What it means is you can have a Tempesta ordering Brood Brother squads. Now, Brood Brothers are what your allied Astra Militarum units are, but there's also a Brood Brother infantry squad that is in the Codex Genestealer cult. Now, some of you might be saying, why would we want to take the Codex one? The Codex Genestealer cult one. Well, this is why. Because Codex Genestealer cult Brood Brother infantry squads, which are essentially infantry squads in all ways, can be taken in 20-man blobs. So basically, guys, you can take an infantry squad that you can put 20 guys into. Now, the Brood Brother infantry squad from the Genestealer Cult Codex gets the Cult Ambush special rule as well. The Brood Brother infantry squad from the Astra Militarum Codex does not. So again, you're seeing this advantage. You can take more men in one squad and you can cult ambush those guys. Now this is where it becomes interesting, because you can also deep strike in your Astra Militarum Brood Brother Tempesta Prime, and he can now issue orders to your big 20-man Genestealer Cult Brood Brother squad, which essentially means he can cult ambush as well. He can go underground. He can deep strike. Now, what this allows you to do, guys, you don't get any regiment benefits or anything like that, but what this allows you to do is you can deep strike in 20 guardsmen in rapid fire range. And then you can deep strike in your Brood Brother Tempesta Prime. And he can order those, because they're all Brood Brothers now, they're all the same, they're all Brood Brothers. And he can order that big 20-man squad, first rank fire, second rank fire. Which means for the low, low price of 120 points, you can unleash 80 lasgun shots. Turn 2, just straight in there, boom. That's not bad at all. Now, bear in mind, guys, you know, you could take this again. You could do this twice for only 2, or you could just give the Tempesta a 5-point command rod, buy another 20-man Brood Brother infantry squad, and you could unleash 106. You could take this as, you could just take a patrol detachment if you wanted to, and you could take 100. You could have 40 infantry deep striking in. It's better than the Talon ambush because they have to outflank. These guys can deep strike in, and they can unload first rank fire, second rank fire, and they're only 4 points per model. And you can take 20 in one big squad. Now you are limited in your weapon options. You can only take flamers and grenade launchers as special weapons. Your heavy weapons are the same, but you can only take one in a 20-man blob. So really what we're looking at here, guys, is last gun spam, which is incredible. Now, some of you might be saying, I want to wrap this up. I don't want to get... Some of you will be saying, this is heresy, blah, blah, blah. But genuinely, guys, if you wanted to, you could quite easily, if you wanted to take advantage of this, you could very easily run a Genestealer Cult army without any mutants in it whatsoever, without anything dodgy at all. You genuinely could. Because you could take two Genestealer Cult battalions to give you loads of command points. And you know, you've got bikers, which aren't mutants, they're just rough riders. You've got bikers, you've got neophyte hybrids, which are just like normal. They're the same as the Brood Brothers, but they get access to mining weapons, so you can get access to those. You can get access to heavy stubbers and mining lasers, which we've already discussed are really good, and you can get a hive cult trait on them as well, cult adaptation, which are just like many of them are very similar to regiment traits. I mean, if you wanted to run what I would consider a PDF force, a planetary defense force, you could run a Astra Militarum. You could run 2 Genestealer Cult battalions with an Astra Militarum allied battalion, and you could take loads of neophyte hybrids, and you could just be running them as the Hive Cult trait, Hive Cult cult regiment, because the Hive Cult regiment is essentially a militarized cult, and so they'd be taking less casualties from. How they work is they're like a combination of Valhallan and Ultramarines, so they take half casualties for morale, and they can fall back and shoot at a -1. So even though you wouldn't have access to orders, guys, you'd still have that ability to fall back and shoot, which is good. And because you wouldn't have access to things that make you fearless if you were doing this as an actual PDF army, that would help with your morale situation. And you could run Sentinels, you can run Chimeras, you can run Lehman Russes, you can run Goliath trucks, you can run Atalan Jackal bikers, you can run Achilles Ridge Runner buggies. Half the units in the Cult Codex are not mutated in any way, shape or form. They're just low-grade Imperial units. And so you can really, you can build a good Astra Militarum force based off a combination of the Cult Codex and the Genestealer Cult Codex. Now, I really want to hammer this home, guys, okay? Because this is something I'm really interested in doing. And I put that Facebook post up a few weeks ago about how I'm, don't worry about me buying, getting into the cult, because guess what, guys? Nearly all the models I've bought are not mutated. I've only got about 10, 20 mutants in the whole of my, almost 150 Genestealer Cult army. Models of my Genestealer Cult army. What this book really, don't just dismiss it. Just look at this from purely Imperial Guard tactical point of view. This codex, this Genestealer Cult Codex, can be seen as almost as an expansion to our own. And this is a really good example of it. 40 or more infantry, deep striking in with Tempesta Prime support, able to be receiving orders. You can have Lehman Russes providing fire support, Goliath trucks, which are better than Tauroxes providing fire support. You can really hammer it home. You can really make it work. So there you go, guys. There's a few other tactics we can talk about here, but I'm going to be doing some of these wombo combo Imperial Guard and Genestealer Cult tactics, and I'm going to be doing it from the perspective of having no mutants in the army. How can we, as Guard commanders, leverage these additional units and leverage these potential very powerful rules? I think it has a lot of potential here, guys. A lot of good ideas can be done. I know, obviously, heresy and all that. I know that. But if we model it, if we take the models and we don't include the filthy heretic Genestealer Cult models, we can do it. Anyway, I'm waffling on now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think about that deep striking rapid fire thing. I think it's very powerful. What do you think? I'll see you guys next time.